Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Wednesday, March 25, year of our Lord 2026. My Cordaro Jeweler's watch says it's 9:08 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. I can prove it because we are making everything right in the world. It's also the place for the brave, like the veterans we've lost this year but salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group, like Paul Pakutka, Duryea, Joseph Danko, Oneida, Larry Goebel, Sterling Township, and William Michalski, Plains Township. The United States of America, founded with the certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible founding fathers that government is not, should not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction, knowing that throughout history, letting government have power meant you lost your freedom, period. So there wasn't any of these things for government to play. But it was nothing more than a necessary evil we required to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It wasn't something that could be parceled out to groups. It wasn't something that could be controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, whether they use it to lie or not. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. Well, with that essential preamble dispensed with, we can tell you that this Bob Cordaro Show will always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And we now gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world where I'm telling you, Nancy and I, once in a while in the handoff, we get into it. Well, today we did. Because she outright lied and said something about comparing the Save America Act to the poll tax, which is pure insanity and purely false. And I just look at it and I say, what the left does. And I was asking, and that's what scurried her out of the, well, she had to get out of the studio anyway. She wasn't leaving because of me. How do you base your life's beliefs, and by the way, they're not even beliefs, they're feelings. That's all they are, on lies. Like women can't get whatever. Women can't register to vote after they get married. Well, number one, it's your choice to change your name. You don't have to when you get married. That's number one. Let's not forget about that. Choice number two, you have to change everything over anyway if you change your name in marriage. So you're losing nothing. It's the same thing you have to do anyway. That's why it's an 85-15 issue. And I say the thing that I can't get, what's the value, I guess, to support your feelings. Because there's no logic, there's no sense, there's no facts, there's no truth, there's no reality behind any of the Democrat positions. Like, none. Like, they're literally saying now, the Democrats, their new line, and I don't know if they sit down and get together and say, oh, let's say this. But one idiot says it, and then they just mimic and mime. Oh, the Republicans causing the shutdown. It's insane. It's insanity. I mean, they're going to study how did insanity engulf an entire political party and its leadership. How did this happen? I mean, and in a couple of years, they're going to run out of, oh, well, Donald Trump is Hitler. Which, again, all lies. I don't know where does the country head when seemingly well-meaning people, seemingly smart people, I can't give them any credit for intelligence, frankly. If you're intelligence, you connect dots if you're intelligent. And not everybody is intelligent. Just what is. But I can't say, well, they're intelligent. No, they're not. You can't be intelligent and be a Democrat today. You cannot. Literally. It's insane. Somebody texted in, well, one of the trolls. Bob, look at the trouble people are having getting real ID and PA. I think you said you had problems. No, I didn't. So it still costs legitimate voters time and money to get required documents. You have to do it anyway. I don't get it. You have to do it for every aspect of your life. Married woman, single woman, you have to get these documents. Do you ever want to fly in a plane? Do you ever want to buy a narcotic? Do you ever want to get into a sporting event or a concert? You have to get these things. Just say we want to commit fraud. We want illegals to be able to vote because we consider them citizens. Why can't they ever tell the truth? They never can tell the truth. Ever. It's maddening. I don't get it. I'm just mystified. Hey, and then there's the group at the top would be saying, hey, this is how I hold on to power, by lying and by promoting government growth, which I know eliminates freedom in equal parts. But why not just say what you're doing? And by the way, once in a while, Bernie Sanders and AOC will tell the truth. Chris Murphy just told the truth. We care more. He said it right out. He's a sick bastard. He's gone. I mean, he would not get out of a mental institution. Senator Chris Murphy, Connecticut. He is just, and he may be outright evil. I think I have the cut. He literally said, the people we really care about, the illegal immigrants. He said it. Undocumented, he might have used. No, this is a real sickness. Through the body politic. And they have useful idiots following it, and people that are traditional Democrat voters pretending it hasn't happened, that the sickness has not invaded. Cabinet guy. So when we got married, my wife had to change her driver's license, credit cards, and passport. Didn't have any issues, just her time. They are liars. Yes. Somebody else, I had to renew my license. Went to Dunmore, and no problem with Real ID. LTS. But you had to. Somebody else, Bob, it was easier to change my name after marriage on my driver's license and voter registration than it is on Facebook. I mean, but like, I'm stating an obvious lie on the morning show. This is what I want to get to. Are your feelings that important that you're willing to lie about everything that supports your feelings? Again, it isn't to the level of belief. A belief has to be based on something. And it can't be based on lies. I'm not getting it. I don't get it. And they do it. And they talk about it. And they'll talk about it like flippantly. And in most circumstances, they don't get questioned. Does that provide the reassurance to continue basing everything on a lie? I mean, most of the media is not going to question Chuck Schumer. Well, Chuck Schumer, you just said we need ID and it's no big deal. You said it 20 years ago, and boy, you seem really firm about it. You seem like you really believed it. Hi, Bob. I'm 76 years old, and if I can buy a spray paint at Home Depot, go to Dunmore Lumber or somebody local. Anyway, at Home Depot, the machine calls for help. I have to show an ID. Show an ID to vote or stay home. Ed from Nanticoke. Ed, 1,000%. I don't get it. There is only one reason you would not want the Save America Act to pass, is because you know that voter fraud gives the Democrats that little 2 or 3 point edge, sometimes more, because fraudulent voting occurs. The only reason. There's no other reason. Everything else is made up and it's lies. But it's about, by the way, that's everything the Democrat Party espouses. And again, I get the hatred of Trump. I get it. He's only half the country's cup of tea, maybe not even. But I don't know what that has to do with anything either. Somebody says, yeah, people, this is great. This is actually, yeah, people are having a hard time getting real ID, but meanwhile, the whole country has illegal immigrants that can't speak English driving 40-ton tractor trailers. I know. The listener says, make it make sense. It doesn't, because the sick brains are in charge of these states. Josh Shapiro's in charge of Pennsylvania. And we've got illegal immigrants getting trucking licenses and driver's licenses. It's insane. So you say, well, there's got to be logic, at least at the top. Here's the logic. And I've been saying it for 4 years. Nobody picked it up. I got to tell you, I follow all the media. It had nothing to do with voting. That's a nice byproduct. The illegal immigrant surge had to do with the census. You don't lose congressional districts, you don't lose districts in the state house, but primarily congressional districts, because your policies are driving people out by the millions to places that use common sense. And you need bodies. That's why they imported 10 to 20 million people during the Biden administration. It wasn't compassion. And that's why when they were importing all these people, they didn't test them for COVID, which was life and death. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel didn't even want you to get treated at a hospital if you didn't get the COVID shot. These are sick people. These people are gone. And they're so devoted to their feelings that fact, truth, and reality are their enemy. We'll take a break and be back. Murph tells us Yeah. Roy Orbison, this date, 1960, Murph says, recorded this hit, Only the Lonely, at RCA Victor's Records in Nashville, Tennessee. And 1965, that was LBJ. Speaking about the odious, scummy LBJ, speaking about Reverend Martin Luther King leading 25,000 people to the Alabama State Capitol in Montgomery. 5-day march from Selma, protesting the denial of voting rights to blacks, who about 80% support voter ID, by the way. 1965, this date. I'm telling you, the insanity is... So Mark the Shark from Hazelden sent me this. He says, you're going to love this. Well, I figured he's overselling it. Well, he's not. Gloria Steinem, activist, author, editor, she based her entire life on lies. And by the way, massive success, fame, all that. She says, law and justice, this is Gloria Steinem, are not always the same. When they aren't, destroying the law may be the first step toward changing it. There it is. That's the philosophy. And it carries over to so many things. Let's listen very quickly to these Chicago and the governor of Illinois. He was a sick, fat pig. And let's listen to the twisted, lunatic mayor of Chicago on this murder of an 18-year-old woman by an illegal alien who was there and not thrown out of this country because of them. Play it, Bull. Gibberish, lying. What, so just say, I don't care if she gets killed. I need illegals in this city because I won't lose congressional seats. We won't lose state funding. We won't lose federal funding. And hey, if an American's got to get killed, so be it. But Pritzker can't say it, the pig, and the disgusting, evil mayor can't say it either. We'll take a break and be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Lovingly, loyally brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And as we're already at Wednesday, we're featuring his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. 3 amazing bar restaurants. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. I'm still thinking about the mushroom soup I had there 2 weeks ago. And the flatbread steak and cheese pizza. The Far Street Tavern. The Colorasis turned it into a legend, an institution, and John Basiliga reimagined it. The Far Street Tavern on the great Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Old Brook Inn. 307 Springbrook Township, reimagined again. Gorgeous. Fantastic food. 2 amazing bars. Great restaurant. High end, yeah, we got that. The Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. The Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. The Fred Stegmeyer Mansion is an amazing bed and breakfast. Great bar, great atmosphere. You'll think you're dining in a mansion in Newport, Rhode Island. Terra 519, one of the most amazing restaurants you will ever walk into. They got, look, yeah, it's expensive. But do what I do. You go to happy hour. $10 drinks, $6 craft beers. Love it. 4 to 6 Tuesday, every day. A Terra 519. Paul Pakutka. We lost him at age 91, March 12th. He was from Duryea. He was living at the Gino Murley Veterans Center. Born in Duryea, he was a devoted member of the Nativity of Our Lord Parish Church in Duryea and a proud graduate of Duryea High School, class of 1952. Following his graduation, Paul began his career with the Pennsylvania Turnpike. But in June 1954, he enlisted in the United States Army and honorably served this country during the Korean War. Upon returning home, he became employed at the Tobyhanna Army Depot, where he dedicated 34 years of service before retiring as a computer specialist. You imagine that? Somebody born in 1934 becomes a computer specialist. Amazing. In retirement, Paul embraced life fully, traveling, vacationing. Winters in Arizona, fondness for horse racing. Loved being with his family. Paul was preceded in death by his grandson, Lee Pakutka, tragically, and his sisters. Survived by his daughter, his son, 5 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and other family members. Paul Pakutka, our veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. The AccuWeather forecast brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resorts. Spring has sprung at Montage Mountain. Everything's happening again, just a different season. It's a 4-season resort. Head up and check it out. Today, mostly cloudy, high 55. Tonight, cloudy with a shower late, down to 41. Tomorrow, Thursday, breezy with times of clouds and sun, high 75, low 41. Wow. Friday, breezy and cooler, periods of rain and drizzle early in the morning. Then clouds and sun in the afternoon, 46. The low will be 23. Saturday, chilly with partial sunshine, breezy in the afternoon with a shower in places, high 42, low 27. Sunday, intervals of cloud and sun, high 53, low 35. So a nice day today and an amazing day tomorrow for most of it. All of that brought to you by Montage Mountain Resorts, where spring has sprung. And guess what? The great Slocum Hollow Lodge is open for business. Go get a Wagyu burger. Chuck Berry recorded this hit in no particular place to go at Chess Studios, Chicago, when Chicago was great. This date, 1964, before the a-hole scumbags took it over. My God. It's just frightening. These are frightening people. And if you're voting Democrat, you're following them. I don't get it. I'm telling you. And here's some, again, this desperation to argue lies. Here it is. Here's one of the listeners. Now, maybe they're misinformed, but you're intentionally misinformed. I want to find this text. All right. Good morning. On the issue of the SAVE Act, it boils down for married women who change their last name to match their husband. If you have all the information that you need, marriage certificate, birth certificate, real ID, you would not be able to vote because the birth certificate does not match with the real ID. You're lying. So how do they get on the plane? How do they buy medications? How do they go to the will call box at a concert? How do you go to the Democrat National Convention? You're just mouthing the lie. They say Republicans said real ID is not enough to vote. What am I going to do with you? Seriously. You're devoted to your feelings to such a point that you will ignore fact, truth, and reality. I don't get it. I can't understand you. I love you, but I cannot understand you. I don't get it. And as one of our listeners points out, you don't have to change your name when you get married. If you actually believe the lies, don't change your name when you get married. Oh, my God. Somebody points out helpfully, they don't want to be helped. Please remember, they want to lie. They find reassurance and support for their feelings in lies. They're not going to go to a library. They're not going to go to a Social Security office. They're not going to go to another agency. They want the lies so they can be comfortable with their feelings. Somebody pointing out, plus when you change your name on your license, they automatically update your voter ID with 3 buttons on a keypad. But they don't want to be helped. They want to live the lie. They want to live the lie. I don't know why. There's the core of it. There's the nub. Somebody says, I've been trying to get real ID for a while now. I can't because my name is different on it. It's been a struggle. Well, you have to get it. Has nothing to do with the SAVE Act. Literally nothing. I'm just flabbergasted. And here's what would bother me. All right, I've been fooled. The Page Cognettis and the other jackasses they've fooled me. Okay? They've lied to me. And by the way, let's just go to one issue. Let's say you're pro-choice. When Page Cognetti and Governor Shapiro and every Democrat running for Congress and Haddock, the ass state representative, when they all lied to you and said, abortion, you'll never get an abortion again. After that major of a lie on that important of a subject, I would not believe them ever again. But apparently, again, lies provide comfort for your feelings. Instead of conquering feelings, childishness, that's what it is. It's childishness. By thinking it through and saying, that was wrong. Yeah, I got all worked up over that. I wonder why. Stop believing the liars. Stop following the liars. You look stupid. And you're not even helping. You're hurting yourself. Oh, I don't get it. It's frightening. We'll take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The Turtles, Murph says this date, 1967, they moved up to number one with their only number one hit, Happy Together. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. You made me burst out laughing. One of the people that had texted in, he says, I vote Republican. I'm not complaining, you ass. I'm just saying it's more difficult than it should be. I'm going to respond to that, but thank you for making me laugh. You can get into situations where you're arguing with people that are on your side. Anyway, and I'm in such a lather this morning after arguing with Nancy. The reason it's difficult to get a legitimate ID is because of the fraud. Why is there massive fraud? Well, a large driver of it is illegal immigrants. And a large driver of that is government benefits. So they've made it hard for us to get our own IDs, harder, if not impossible in some cases, according to people. But that has nothing to do with the SAVE Act. You have to do it anyway. So sorry about that. Keep voting Republican. And thanks for making me laugh again. Somebody thinks that the Democrat agenda is dumb and based on lies. No normal person or voter wants it. The Democrat Party moved so far left, they now can't identify the truth. The only way the Democrats can expand their base and stay in power is through mass illegal immigration. All the immigrants want is free survival at any cost. Yep. I don't know. Somebody said they went down to the Osterholt Library, took out a library card, and I had to show my driver's license. Okay. It's a fact of life. Somebody says the point of marriage certificate is to bridge the change between birth certificate and married driver's license. That person's argument is negated by their own statement in which they're trying to make it. And my argument with Nancy this morning was, but Nancy, let's accept all of that which you say as true. You have to do it anyway. Okay, then the argument's over. Cabinet guy says, Bob, would you give Nancy the time to talk and state her case before you counteract? Probably not. When anybody calls in here and they're lying or they're wrong, you have to stop it. There's not enough time in life. I'm not going to convince her anyway. They are devoted to their feelings. They're so devoted to their feelings, and I mean without any. And it's never going to change based on what I say. It's never going to change based on fact, truth, or reality. So how am I going to wait? Why would I waste my time? Why would I waste your time? Just not going to do it. Now, you give me a beer or scotch and a cigar, I'll have the discussion and I'll listen. But not on the air. There's not enough time. I don't know. Let's go to Travis in Goldsboro. How are you, Travis?
Hey, I'm good, Bob. How we doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit. I tried to get you end of last week and beginning of this week, couldn't get you, so I got you now. So we're talking about the SAVE Act. We got to keep our representation the way it is. The Representative Rob Bresnahan's doing a great job, working with the labor leaders in the area, and he's the guy you need to get this pushed through because he can talk to both sides of this thing. Traditionally unions have been Democrat. If you look at the membership, they're starting to shift, and he picked up on that, and he's working well with us. And Paige can't get the help with the unions because of what she did to the RCO up there in Scranton. She couldn't help the DPW workers. Just too much stuff going on with her. We got to keep our representative the way it is. There should be no changes. This guy's doing an amazing job. He's the guy we need in there. I
love Rob Bresnahan. I think he is outstanding. I've never seen, and I said this to Dave McCormick, I said, I've never seen a freshman congressman, and I've studied Congress. I worked on Capitol Hill. I've never seen a freshman congressman get right in the middle of the gears of the U.S. Congress like Rob Bresnan ever.
You're not kidding, man. And Dave McCormick, you mentioned him. He just did an event right at our hall. He had a breakfast the other day talking to our union.
Which
and
union are you, Travis?
I'm local 44 sheet metal workers.
Oh, great.
Yes, so we just hosted a breakfast with him. He wanted to talk to us about making sure we can, man this work that's coming up, and he's trying to get project labor agreement going on that side of things. And just wants to make sure that we can man the work. So it's
and
all
I'll
these
tell you what,
Congress-
you
all
guys
these-
can, and you guys can do it. And I when I was county commissioner, I made sure that we had you could only use union on our projects because I said I knew they'll get the job done right.
Correct. And, we could do this work, we could do all this stuff, but we got to keep the representatives the way they are. You can't mix it up. All these, emotions got to stay out of it. He's doing a good job. He's taking care of business. He's voting where he needs to vote. And these are the people we need. We need to get the SAVE Act passed, and those are the people that are going to do it.
Amen.
Because they know why we need it, and we all do need it. I put my ID out every day for everything I purchase. There's nothing new.
I know. You mean you're still able to survive with?
I guess. Yeah, no, I could buy water. I could buy bread. I guess.
I can't believe you haven't died yet.
I know. But again, that's just what I want to speak on to you, man. I want to make sure that we keep our representatives the way they are. They're doing a great job working with the working class of northeastern Pennsylvania, and tried and true. They're putting their money where their mouth is when they can, and they're helping us out, and they're doing a great job from what I can tell from where I sit.
All right, that's another vote for Rob Bresnan from actual people who work. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, we'll take a break because my Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me that it's 10:01 and change. Now, it's not a Raymond Weil watch. They've got that. Not Breitling. It's not Oris. It's not Longines. It's not Michelle. It's not Shinola. It's not Luminox. It's not a Swiss Army. It's not a Seiko. It's not a Tory Burch. It's not a Victorinox. It's not a Bulova. It's not a G-Shock. It's a Cordaro Jewelers watch, and it says it's time for the news. We'll be back. the drum. Yes, it does, baby, and we're fighting it here. Great good morning, everyone. My Ricardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:09 and change. Well, let's call it 10:10 on the nose here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Wednesday, March 25, year of our Lord 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who've made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but salute today, thanks to John, like Paul Pakutka, Duryea, Joseph Danko. He's from Hazleton. Larry Goebel, Sterling Township, and William Michalski, Plains Township. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising that our commitment, which is unwavering to common sense, will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world gone mad. In a world where a Democrat Party and their leadership lie more times before breakfast than I don't know what. It's insane. It's insane. This hour brought to you, by the way, Tina Morocco, our trusted Florida advisor. If you're thinking Florida real estate, go to someone you can trust. That's Tina Morocco. She is with Premier Sotheby's in Naples, Florida. So you look up Sotheby's International in Naples, Florida, you'll find Tina Morocco, how to get in touch. Or you go to tinamorocco.com, Muracco. Gateway to Florida. All of Florida, specializing in Southwest Florida. By the way, great talking to a sheet workers guy, Travis. And another mention, another union has endorsed Rob Bresnahan, the Amalgamated Transit Union. And as Rob says, transit workers keep Northeast Pennsylvania running. They show up every day, rain or shine, to power our transportation systems and the economy. So the Transportation Union, and this is about the fifth I've seen, and they'll keep coming because working people, actual working people, look at, she's been screwing the Scranton DPW. She's been confusing the cops and not backing them. Same thing with fire. Nobody gets it. She's got a track record, anti-union track record, because if you conflict with her agenda, you're out. If you conflict with the lunatic agenda, you're out. Period. And that's why the actual working people are going for Rob Bresnahan. I'm not talking about people, social workers. I'm not talking about that. And by the way, not to hit social workers, but if you're voting for Rob, or if you're voting for, or you think you're going to vote for Mayor Many Names, well, then I am talking to you. Because you're basing everything just as she does on feelings, not truth, not fact, not reality. Hey, today is Medal of Honor Day. I immediately think of my old friend Gino Murley. And I think of Murley Sarnosky Park. And I think of that great monument on Lackawanna County Courthouse Square to Gino and Sarnosky. Medal of Honor winners from days gone by from this region. What amazing people. On the ID thing, real quick. Bob, I had to get my real ID for a government job I was working. I had no birth certificate. I had no Social Security card. Plus, I'm a junior in my license. My license didn't say junior. I went, got my certificate, got my Social Security card replacements, got a water bill. My name went to the DMV. I was in and out of there in an hour. If I can do it, anybody can. LTS. I'm with you. I couldn't get real ID, by the way. Or what real ID? I didn't have my Social Security card. So I've got a regular driver's license, but I said, okay, I got my passport. Fine. Why go through the headache? But I better go get a Social Security. Again, you're in prison 8.5 years. Stuff gets thrown all over the place. I don't know where it is. I'll find it and get it done. Somebody said I wasted a perfectly good day waiting in line to get real ID. Well, I mean, again, a passport's a backup. It's a backup. Sue the Cat texts in. She says, Department of Vital Statistics online in every state provides copies of birth certificates. WTF. What's the problem? I know, Cot. They're making it up. And no fact, no measure of truth, and no ring of reality will dissuade them from their feelings. That's what it is. Let's go to Fred from West Pittston. How are you, Fred?
Good, Bob. When you get a chance, get it. See if you can get a location where Bresnahan we can get signs. I don't know exactly where to get them. But just like you, just say you, Bob, you came on the air, you had the show going. You say, I don't drink. I never drank. And all of a sudden, everybody came in the bar, and you got a shot of beer in front of you. Now, how long is your show going to last? Because you know what I mean. They don't care if they lie. Like Mayorkas and Kamala and Biden, they lied about the border right in front of your face, and they were coming over. Now, there you go, because that's how stupid, and that's like saying Nancy's show is better ratings than your show. That's impossible.
The thing, Fred, that I'm wondering, do you agree with the point? I've arrived to the point where I'm saying, look, they base themselves on feelings like children would. They base everything that they promote and fight for on feelings, and that fact, truth, and reality, self-awareness, none of these things will dissuade them from their feelings, and they'll fight for their feelings, and that's what they do.
They're living in a dream world. Everything, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get a gallon of milk for 18 cents. They'll tell you that, and you're going to go to the store and pay $3, whatever it may be.
I know.
That's how stupid they are, Bob. They're just stupid, ignorant.
But, all right, so the question comes down to, Fred, and you know this, most of these people are not actually stupid. The vast majority of them aren't actually. Why do they insist on being that way? And again, it's my belief that they are devoted to feelings, their feelings, to such an extent that they don't care about the truth, fact, or reality.
If you play them in baseball, they want 15 outs and we get 3. You know what I mean? That's what they are. They're just stupid, ignorant people. And everybody got to know that. You know what I mean? I don't make $1 million. I make whatever. That's what they'll tell you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
It's a crazy place we're in, Fred. Thank you, man. All right. We've got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, the eponymous program will roll on. But first, we got to hear from our great sponsors. A little history, a little music, and then if you want to participate, you call or text at 570-883-0098. We'll be back. Deep Purple. Murph says this date, 1972, they released their album Machine Head, which included the band's last top 10 charts hit with Smoke on the Water. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. My man EJ Samuel, he does board op, he does traffic, he does the whole package here at the stations. He says, I'm an historian of local radio in my free time. Remember I had Jeff Walker on yesterday, and someone asked me, one of you guys asked me, what was the story? Was 98.5 was a WBRE News Radio at one time. And EJ says, as a local historian, 98.5 was WBRE. It was. KRZ started in 1979, but the station didn't switch format and call letters until 1980 when it was introduced as KRZ with Jeff Walker, the platinum radio personality at the helm. Isn't that great? Love it. But thanks, EJ, for that. Thank you for that. So I don't know. I mean, we look at this, and I'm going to give you a perfect example. So here is what the left does, because they look for any factoid to support their lies and feelings. Now, here's a typical. One of the trolls, probably the worst of them. How many illegal immigrants voted in Fulton County, Georgia? They text. Trump DOJ sees the voting records, machines, and ballots. If they had illegals voting there, where is the evidence? Now, do you see what this troll has done? He's trying to reduce voter fraud and the use of the SAVE Act and voter ID to vote, trying to reduce it to illegal immigrants. So, okay? So he sets up a false premise. To try to win the argument. Now, regardless, let's say it's 200 illegal immigrants voted. Because remember, they are registered to vote. In Pennsylvania, you get an ID, you get a driver's license, you're registered to vote. So, 200 people, we don't know which ones, go to the polls, and their vote doesn't count because an illegal voted. All right? They don't care about that. They want them to vote. And by the way, as soon as we're not looking for them to vote, they'll vote in droves. I promise you. That's the plan, but separately. How about someone showing up, identifying themselves, because you don't need ID in their world, and just voting, and then going cross town and voting again, and going across town and voting again, and going to another precinct and voting again? How about mail-in ballots, falsely gathered by harvesters? So you think you won some stupid little point, but once again, you're just trying to defend your idiotic, childlike feelings. It's unbelievable. It's sad. I don't get it. So he said, Bob, LTS back at you. Did they change your show? Is it now the Bob and Nancy show? No, we were arguing before during the exchange. She said, I texted you earlier and you didn't respond. I don't get back to the texts. My apologies. But Nancy responded to my text. Boy, you have her in a real lather. Good. And by the way, basing your life and all of your statements on feelings will put you in a lather constantly. I'm just frustrated with the idiocy that we've got to deal with here. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. And again, the finish of the argument was, the conclusion of the argument was, you had to do it anyway. You had to do it anyway. To go to the concert, to get on a plane, you had to do this anyway. So I would tell women, listen, if you're concerned, don't change your name when you're married. That's number one. So this is fully preventable. Number two, if you do, go through the process that you have to go through anyway. Don't lie. My man John sent me in something. It says somewhere along the way, taxes stopped being about roads, courts, and national defense. They now exist to sustain worthless politicians and to reward the friends, donors, contractors, and constituencies that keep them in power. Money is taken from everyone, filtered through Washington, and handed back to the favored few, all while being sold as compassion. This isn't a revenue system. It's a patronage system. A system built to serve itself has forfeited the right to exist. It's time to bring the current federal income tax system to an end. Amen, John. Amen. We're at a point of pure, complete insanity. By the way, breaking in the Pennsylvania House, same thing from John. Democrats use a procedural stunt to kill a Pennsylvania House Republican caucus amendment that would have eliminated property taxes. They declared it unconstitutional rather than allowing members to vote on it. Wow. That's your Democrat Party at work. And by the way, that's all your Democrat representatives who we like. That's all your Democrat representatives. You may like them, but they've just screwed you again. Once again. Oh, here's another one from John. He never comes out with one. FBI come out with a document, and I didn't get to see Jesse Waters last night. The FBI document says Burisma paid Joe and Hunter $10 million in bribes. There's your hometown hero, Joe Biden. We'll take a break and be back with the Veterans Tribute after this. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour this day and every day brought to you by a friend of the veterans, John Basiliga. Amazingly devoted to them. There's 3 amazing bar restaurants. I can't talk enough about them. I really can't. You got to check them out. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant, the newest of the gang. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. And the Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood institution on the Trips Park section of West Scranton. And then there's fine dining. The Stegmeyer Mansion, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. Downtown Wilkes-Barre. It's like going to Newport, Rhode Island and being able to have the best in food and drink right in the middle of the atmosphere. And then a Terra 519, the modern classic, downtown Scranton. Awesome. Joseph Danko. He was from Oneida. Member of St. Mary's Byzantine Catholic Church in Shepton. A veteran, he served in the U.S. Army with Company B. 4th U.S. Army, 63rd Engineers Battalion, attaining the rank of Specialist 4th Class. He served us from 64 to 67. He was a member of the Shepton American Legion. His career, he was a welder. He put things and made things work together. He's survived by his children, his brother, wife Eileen, 9 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, nieces and nephews. Joseph Danko. Lawrence Larry Goebel. We lost him March 14th. He was 81. He was from Sterling Township. He's pictured in his Army uniform. Buried through the Brian Arthur Strock Funeral Home in Springbrook Township. Larry Goebel. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort. Spring has sprung at Montage. Today, mostly cloudy, 55 degrees. Tonight, cloudy with a shower late, 41. Tomorrow, breezy with times of clouds and sun. It's going to be 75 tomorrow. The low will be 41, however. Friday gets cooler, stays cool from the overnight. Breezy, periods of rain and drizzle early in the morning, then clouds and sun in the afternoon. High 46, low 23. Saturday, chilly with partial sunshine. Breezy in the afternoon with a shower in places. 42 degrees, 27. Sunday, a little better. Intervals of clouds and sun, 53, low 35. It's 40 degrees at Montage Mountain Resort right now. Thank you for bringing that weather forecast to us. Barry Manilow moved up to number 4. This date, 1978, Murph says, with his hit Can't Smile Without You. Bob Cordaro back on the program. As the whole shutdown continues and people continue to suffer and get aggravated for no reason other than Democrat feelings, Democrat lies. Here's in their own words. John sent me this. Martin Heinrich, he says, paying our troops give the president more leverage. Bernie Sanders on shutdowns. You reopen the government and we lose our leverage. Chuck Schumer, every day gets better for us. Not for the people, because they're irrelevant. Ruben Gallego, then I'd just go back and shut it down again. Chris Coons, the ass from Delaware. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage, and although a very unpleasant tool to use. And Congressman Catherine Clark, she just looks like an ex-wife, a vicious one. There will be families that are going to suffer, but is one of the few leverage times we have. What a disgrace. This is just unbelievable. It's unbelievably sad. I just look at it. By the way, somebody texted PA Senator John Fetterman says, when you can't identify the truth, when you know it's the truth, that's how we lose our democracy. My party knows I'm telling the truth when I break away from them on certain issues like funding Homeland Security and the TSA. The TSA workers are government workers. Why then hurt the little people who make around $50,000 a year? It's not right. It's obvious, deliberate, because they despise President Trump, and that's wrong. So I vote to open the government and always will. My word. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's what is. And they hate him so viciously because he's telling the truth. He's calling them out on their lie. Scary. Somebody says, good morning, Bob. Oh, no, Mike Mancini. I attended the Scranton Council caucus meeting last evening. During the conversation, the Pave Cut Inspection Company said that since the beginning of 2025, they have doled out only 5 fines to utilities. Wow. Now here's the thing. And thank you for bringing this up, Mike. I want to point it out again. The reason you guys are like, well, you're against the mayor because she's a left-wing lunatic. Well, yeah, that's number one. Okay? Not a concern for the people of Scranton like me. Or not like me. Any of us. Okay? Not one bit of concern. See, this is the left. And she's a left-wing lunatic. Completely in on the whole agenda. So let's say you're in on the agenda. Now she's running for Congress. Okay? Drive down my street. Drive through majority of the streets in Scranton. You will see she doesn't give a spit about Scranton. It was a platform to run for Congress. Now, are you going to let an incompetent buffoon like this be your congressperson? By the way, versus a person who has Rob Bresnahan, who has actual accomplishments in life. Didn't jump from job to job, padding a resume without any accomplishments whatsoever. And not only doesn't care about the people of Scranton, doesn't care that she doesn't care as long as she gets away with it. And to date, she has. She didn't care about the children of Scranton and the education in Scranton. She left the Scranton School Board before she had to vote on anything. As soon as it got tough and decisions had to be made, she ran. Then she reemerges, becomes the mayor, does a horrible job, and gets away with that because she's a Democrat and the Dummycrats vote for her. It's insane. And now she wants to go against someone with actual accomplishment to promote the left-wing agenda, which is all that matters to her. Well, if you decided to be mayor, even to use us, which is obvious, even to use the people of City of Scranton for her own political agenda, at least do the job. Well, as I've explained to you before, if you're a left-wing lunatic, you're divorced from fact, truth, and reality, you have only your agenda to pursue. You're going to suck at your job 90% of the time. Well, she's one of the 90%. And you drive the streets of Scranton, and you'll discover, sadly, that's true. And then they say, oh, but she says, I'm the honest one. I beat the Old Boys Network. Well, what was the Old Boys Network when you got $15,000 in contributions from Fidelity Bank officials and then paid millions of dollars for a building you didn't need? Where was that? Tell me about that. Please tell me. Tell me that's not the Old Boy Network. No, it's your network. Yeah, you got rid of the Old Boy Network for your network, Mayor Cognetti. And you can't fix the streets, and you can't build a pool. Insanity. We'll be back. Mike and the Mechanics. Great song. This date, 1989, Murph says they had the #1 hit in the country with The Living Years. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. And I got to do Mother Teresa before I forget. Then Mary was very insistent, but very polite as always. March 25th, St. Teresa. She says, religion is not something that you or I can touch. Religion is the worship of God, therefore a matter of conscience. I alone must decide for myself and you for yourself what we choose. For me, the religion I live and use to worship God is the Catholic religion. I'm with you, sister. That's Mother Teresa for today. Thank you, Mary Regina, as always. Somebody texted in, and I'm happy they did, by the way. And they're living in Reelsville. This is John T. down in Pinebrook. He says, Bresnan took over Grandpa's company and bankrupted it. I'll deal with that in a moment. The mayor is awful, too. Both are terrible. Now, John, here's what they try to lie to you about. And remember who lied to you when you're making your decision on who to vote for Congress. Here's the facts. Rob Bresnahan got into it was a good company. I knew Wally Collarchick. It was a good company. But he expanded it tremendously. He grew it substantially into one of the leading infrastructure companies from an electrical contractor. And under Rob's guidance, they sold after growing it substantially. Sold at a great profit. Now, what did he do with the resources that he had created at Kaharchik Construction? He reinvested them in downtown Pittston, developing buildings and more. That's what this guy did. So anybody tells you, well, he failed at business, no, he won big time. And to have someone of that level of success in such a grand way, not only reinvest in the community where he lived, downtown Pittston in particular, but to go on beyond that and say, all right, guess what? I'll offer myself for Congress. We are so beyond fortunate. The mayor is awful? Yeah. I live it. Somebody texted in on that note, Bob, your street is never getting paved. LTS, I know. I'm going to pave it. I'm going to pave it myself. I'm telling you. That's where we're headed. But very important, when they start lying about Rob like he cut Medicaid. By the way, he cut Medicare. I'm on Medicare. There ain't no cuts. It's a lie. They are liars. They base all of their they base their entire political agenda on feelings, and the way they get away with it for themselves is they base that on lies. Because there is no truth in their position, sadly. There's the Democrat Party. Today's Democrat Party is literally wrong about everything. Just like a surveyor who starts at the wrong reference point, they will be wrong about the entire survey. Every part of it will be wrong. Cabinet guy reminds me with an LTS, Bob, don't forget the DPW guys still don't have a contract. I said that before. Somebody texted in, Bob, I received mailings from Judicial Watch, and they publish honest election highlights. Well, in April 2023, Pennsylvania settled with Judicial Watch in court filings that removed 178,558 ineligible registrations to vote. Wow, says the listener. Well, not the listener, it's Mountaintop. It also mentioned many other states doing the same thing. LTS back at you, Mountaintop. See, this is what they'll say, oh, no, there aren't illegal voters. There's maybe only hundreds of illegals voting. The Save America Act is about much more than that, and the lies about it are about much more than that. They want to cheat. It's about people using names, and because they don't have to have ID, going from place to place to place and voting. Gathering mail-in ballots for people that never voted. That's what they do. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy people. Bob drove down side street from Music Street to save time. South Webster was first undrivable, so I dropped down to Prospect Avenue, which was worse. So I was forced to fight the traffic on Piston Avenue. God only knows the damage this woman will do if elected to Congress. So sad. No, she's awful. Absolutely incompetent beyond measure. Somebody says, we have more water in our potholes than our pools, more criminals in our city streets than our county jails, more waste in our legislature than in our landfill. These elected officials have experience. They lacked accomplishment. Yep. Crazy stuff. And people reminding me, day 100 for Joe Biden and the Stolen Valor banner, the Stolen Banner disgrace. Yeah, we're going to get to it. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. You know it does, baby, and we're fighting it right here. Every day, 9 to noon. Great good morning, ladies and gentlemen, everyone. It's 11:09 a.m. and change here in the great Northeast. That's what my Picardo Jewelers watch tells me. This beautiful Wednesday, March 25, year of our Lord, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, thanks to John. Like Larry Goebel, Sterling Township, Joseph Danko. He was from Meadows, Oneida. Paul Pakutka, Duryea, and William Michalski, Plains Township. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that because we are committed to common sense, invariably, deeply, completely, holistically, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world where the Democrat Party, academia, public unions, name it, they've all gone insane. Totally insane. And it's our job to try to make sense of all of it and let you bathe and luxuriate in common sense for at least these 3 hours a day. By the way, my man Rob O'Donnell tells me there has been a contract signed with the DPW. I'm not aware of it, or at least it wasn't in the paper today. Well, that means absolutely nothing, sadly, with our horrible newspapers. But the Scranton Chamber of Commerce, they're going to have their 157th annual dinner tomorrow night. Or is that tonight? That's tonight, Wednesday, March 25th. And they are honoring, with their Sage Business of the Year Award, the Basiliga Hospitality Group and owner John Basiliga. And man, is it well-deserved. I brag about them every day, and I brag about them not only because I can, but as a patron of all these places, I just can't get enough of them. Well, here's somebody else I can't get enough of, my man John Basiliga. John, how are you? And welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Glad to be back, Bob. Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. This is, I'll tell you what, you have lovingly, but with a lot of hard work, a lot of investment, brought this Basiliga Hospitality Group together, and it is really humming.
I appreciate that, Bob. You know, built a lot of buildings and built a lot of businesses and a lot of apartments and fixed a lot of things. And I was, out of all that, to get the Business of the Year award for the hospitality was, kind of a surprise to me, but it's great. It shows that what we're doing, is being received well by the public, and I'm super proud of it, super proud of my team.
They are great people, I'll tell you. Now, let me ask you this question, because the one thing we don't talk about often enough, which is brand new, the newest, actually, of your businesses, is the Fred Stegmeyer Mansion, also on South Franklin Street in downtown Wilkes-Barre. Tell us a little bit about that amazing edifice.
So, Bob, when I met the previous owner of the Mary and Fred Stegmeyer building, Joe Mateo, I walked into the Mary first, and I was blown away. And he was doing a lot of events upstairs, and I said, you should make this into a full-scale restaurant, while you don't have events, just to keep, the staff paid and be able to keep permanent employment. And then after that, we went over down about a block away. He showed me the Fred Stegmeyer building, and he was just renting it out as apartments. But I just saw there's about 8 rooms, and to do like a bed and breakfast type thing there. But it is absolutely, if you think the decor in the Mary is fascinating, the Fred's 100 times more. It's something to see. I took all the TVs out of the building. I want people to be transported into an age of a long time ago when they walk in, and it's fantastic.
Well, I went through the Fred Stegmeyer mansion, and every inch of the walls was covered. It was true, I guess, Victorian, you'd call it. And it was amazing. I cannot wait to see the transformation.
Yeah, it's a great experience, Bob. It's truly unique to our area. We have people coming from all around the country to stay there, and the reviews are all 5-star. It's something that is great for yourself, your family. I brought my girls around Christmas, and we had a great time. So I'm super proud of the project. It came a long way.
John Basiliga is our guest. Basiliga Hospitality Group, which we tout from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on this program, is being awarded Business of the Year by the Scranton Chamber of Commerce. John, when one of the things about the two mansions, they're very different. They're very different. The Fred Stegmeyer mansion, I don't know quite how to describe it, but it is every inch of the walls is covered with something interesting and neat. And then the Mary Stegmeyer mansion, where the amazing restaurant and event space is a much cleaner thing. It's just different.
Yeah, very different. Like you said, the Mary has events, weddings, all different kinds of parties. Has like a banquet room upstairs, and then a full-scale restaurant on the lower level. And then the Fred is an 8-room bed and breakfast. But I don't know if they were built around the same time. Certainly the same family. Maybe there's a little competition between them, but they are outstanding. Originally built for private residences, but to be able to keep these buildings, and restore them and keep them where the public could come in and see, it's a great thing. It's a great thing for Wilkes-Barre, great thing for our company.
So now next to come on is something completely different for Basiliga Hospitality Group, and that is the Coney Island hot dogs and the ice cream place there on Lackawanna Avenue in Scranton, along with a bunch of apartments upstairs.
Yeah, the Coney Island project is just a few months from being done. Up above Coney Island is 5 apartments, and to the left of Coney Island, where we had that vacant lot for a really long time, I was able to build what's going to be an ice cream parlor. I'll probably have to name it after my youngest daughter, Reagan, because she's asking me about every 5 minutes for that. So, and Bob, next door to that, I bought the old Scranton Hobby Center off Wayne Avenue. Yeah. And that's going to be a retail space down below, which we have a tenant secured, and 5 more apartments. So overall, it'll be an ice cream stand, bringing back Coney Island lunch, a new retailer downtown, and 10 apartments. So it's quite a big project when you add it all together, the 3 parcels.
It really is. Now, speaking of Luzerne County, there was a great article which I saved in one of the papers, but it showed your bank building on the square. Where does that project stand in Wilkes-Barre?
Right now, it's in design, Bob. We use a company out of Philly to do our kitchen design, so we're working on what type of equipment we'll be using and, just how many guests we think we could put in it. But when I looked at that building, when you walk through the front door,
awesome.
The ceiling is very, very high. It has skylights built right into it. So to use it for anything other than some type of hospitality business, I think would be a shame, and it would ruin the building. It's beautiful. It needs work, obviously, to clean it up, but that's where we're headed. Maybe it's something like Sergei's with a little bit of food, but it's in design. Speaking
of Sergei's, I'm telling you, and I'm 65 years old. Okay, I'm on Medicare. I go down there and I have a blast. But it's a young people's venue, but it has become in such a short period of time, in 1 year, it has become the nightclub in Northeast Pennsylvania and beyond.
Bob, and St. Patrick's Day 2025, I opened the door, and I saw a couple dozen people walk in, and I said, "Uh-oh," I didn't know if it was going to take off, and just to see it from 1 year, it's been super popular. It's doing very, very, very well, and I'm just so thankful to all our guests. And the original intent of Sergei's was to have a live music venue, and then after that, later on at night, we do DJs where it gets a younger crowd, usually, 10 o'clock and past. But we have sit-down dinners. We have comedians, all different types of things, different types of bands. We brought in acts from New York City. We brought in Sinatra singers. We brought in, the Four Season type bands, all different things. We brought in some celebrities as well. But it's open to a lot of things. We've had parties down there. So I'm really happy with Sergei's.
Now, the Scranton Art House is a place that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it really is the movie house, and actually voted that by local readers.
To own and operate a movie theater in the downtown, I probably wouldn't recommend to a lot of people because it's tough. But I love the city of Scranton, and I do what I've done well in other things, thanks to God. And I love having our theater downtown. But I can tell you, every time somebody says, I went to the Art House for the first time, and they say, I won't go to any other movie theaters, the experience is great. My manager, Noelle, a lot of her family works in there. You get that family feel when you walk through the door. You could sit at your seats. We have an app on the phone. So if you want a drink or you want something to eat or whatever, you sit right on your phone. You order what you want, and then our staff comes out and brings it right to your seat. You could order, if you wanted 10 beers during the movie, you could order 10 beers, at all different times, whatever you wanted to do. So it's super convenient, and nobody else offers that.
John, what possessed you? Now, I talk about these three amazing bar restaurants, the Old Brook Inn, and that actually doesn't do them justice, calling them bar restaurants. The Far Street Tavern, the Queen City Tavern. I mean, they've been completely rebuilt, reimagined. Why do you do things this way? You could have got by just with a touch-up.
I said everything comes from God, and you get. I say His word is like your intuition or your gut instinct, and when you feel like doing something that feels right to you, that's my words from Him, and I go and do it. But how I got into the business was like a lot of people I know. They look at a restaurant. I'm from Moscow, so Old Brook was my hometown place, our hometown restaurant, hometown bar, and it changed hands a few times. And it was getting worse every single time it changed hands. It wasn't really getting cleaned up the right way. The food got worse. Things were dirty. And I said, I think I could do this. Everybody thinks, if you get a draft beer, it costs $1 and you could sell for $3, there's a lot of money in it. But there's so much more to that. But that's what I thought originally. It's an easy way to make money. And I wanted to fix it up. I got sick and tired of seeing the place get run down, and I wanted to fix it. And I remember when I brought bankers that I was going to use to do the loan on it and the renovations, and they said, "What are you, crazy? You don't know anything about this business." But when you go in a place and it feels clean and the lights are just right and the music's just right and the food actually tastes good and your staff is attentive, there's no more than that. If you can make that happen, and you'll go through situations where things get tough or you get some turnover and things, but you always end up getting it to where it needs to be. But it's a daily thing, and that's how I got into it. And after that, Far Street became available, and I ended up starting that one, and it just kept going. Yeah. So we're Coney Island will be my 9th location, and the ice cream parlor, which I'll count as separate, will be our 10th. Old Brook, any day we're going to start digging foundations for a large expansion. We're going to do about 100-person. Like a wedding venue type thing to add on to it. And the one Achilles heel with the Old Brook always was, just because I didn't have the land when I bought it, our kitchen's a little small. So when we get real busy on a Friday and Saturday night, just to execute all that amount of food that comes out of there, that'll all be fixed with the addition with the wedding venue. And we'll be able to take weddings too, which will be great. It'll be another revenue stream.
John Basiliga is my guest. He and Basiliga Hospitality are the 2026 Sage Business of the Year Award from the Scranton Chamber of Commerce. And then we get to Atera, one of my favorite places anywhere. And it's taken a lot of work and a lot of attention and some turnover, but Atera is starting to really deliver.
Bob, I always say I welcome chaos because chaos brings change. And if you didn't have chaos, you may just stay at the status quo. So I always welcome it. And, we put a lot of work into Terra, and I thought there was a gap in downtown Scranton to have an elevated dining experience. And, you have to pick the menu items that resonate with the public, with the populace. And, sometimes you get those right. Sometimes you get them a little off. But, we've made the right changes, and it's doing really, really well. It's getting busier all the time. And complemented with Sergey's, it's just a huge venue. And we have 12 apartments up above that. So it's been a great project. And I think it started a trend. You see a lot of different restaurants opening downtown, which I'm really happy to see. I don't see it as competition. I see it as teammates. A restaurant could bring a city back together, could bring a town back together. There's always a story I say about the Far Street. Far Street, I started during COVID, and right after COVID ended, we did some soft openings. We did one for friends and family, and we did one for the neighborhood. And that night, I remember seeing people come together from the neighborhood. A lot of them just walked to the bar. It was a neighborhood bar, and they were shaking hands and hugging each other. And said, people that live next to each other, saying, "I haven't seen you in years."
Yeah.
And that little building that we built, brought that neighborhood back together. And it's just really cool to be able to have that effect on things. And same thing with Queen City Tavern and Oliphant. It just uplifted the whole town.
John, just for people who are interested, if you go to the Bob Cordaro Show on TV, I have an extended interview with John about many of these projects. I think it was before Sergey's and the Stegmeyer and Atera even opened, and Queen City Tavern. But it just tells his philosophy, where he's coming from, and tells you why, frankly, if you watch it, why he's been such a success. John, we appreciate it very much. I know this. Our listeners appreciate you sponsoring our great veterans every day. It's the highlight of the show. It really is.
Well, Bob, it's a true honor, and I thank all our veterans. It's a true honor, and God bless America, and God bless them. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to sponsor that. It's super important to me.
John Basiliga. Basiliga Hospitality honored tonight as the 2026 Sage Business of the Year for this year. John, thank you very much, and we hope to talk to you again because we got some new projects coming online, right?
Absolutely, Bob. Thank you very much.
All right, John Basiliga. Let's take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you dutifully, proudly, patriotically by the man you just heard, John Basiliga. Featuring today his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. We talked about his places. Fine dining, the best anywhere, and I mean anywhere. Modern take, a Terra 519, downtown Scranton. An old school take, Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. And don't forget the Fred Stegmeyer Mansion, the best bed and breakfast this side of the Pecos. 3 restaurant bars that it's unfair to describe them that way. They're much more. The Queen City Tavern in downtown Oliphant, the Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood institution in the Trips Park section of West Scranton, and the Old Brook Inn in 307 on 307 Springbrook Township. Amazing, amazing places. William Michalski, 82. We lost him March 14th. He was from Plains Township. He suffered a heart seizure attending church services at his beloved St. Peter and Paul Church in Plains. Born in Plains back in 1944. Graduate of Plains Memorial High School, class of 61. He proudly served us as a member of the Pennsylvania 109th, the Field Artillery National Guard, 1st Battalion, Battery C, 1965 to 1971. He earned the rank of corporal. He was employed as an engineering mechanic and machinist at Topps Chewing Gum Duryea for over 40 years, retiring in 2005. A man of great faith, devout Catholic. Bill was an active member of St. Peter and Paul Church, Plains. He was also a member of the great International Brotherhood of Teamsters. The North End Slovak Club. Cannot wait to go there. And host of the Wyoming Valley Golf League. He enjoyed being with friends, neighbors, and family more than words can describe. He loved to read. He loved to listen. He was devoted to his church, faith, and Jesus. Bill taught his family and constantly reminded them that everything around them is a gift. The time we spend here on earth is borrowed. Enjoy it as it lasts and never take it for granted. Life has a way of reminding us of the truth, God's truth. Surviving his 2 sons, their spouses, his grandchildren, there are 4, and other family members. William Michalski, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by our great friends up at Montage Mountain Resorts. Spring has sprung at Montage. Check it out. Today, mostly cloudy, high of 55. It's 44 outside the studios right now, so I don't know if it's going to get there. Tonight, cloudy with a shower late, low 41. Tomorrow, breezy with times of clouds and sun. It's going to be 75, they say. It'll get down to 41, and then it won't really warm up on Friday because it's breezy and cooler, periods of rain and drizzle early in the morning, then clouds and sun in the afternoon, 46 degrees. It's 23 overnight Friday into Saturday, which will be chilly with partial sunshine, breezy in the afternoon with a shower in places, high 42 down to 27 overnight. Sunday, a bit of a warm-up, intervals of clouds and sun, high 53, low 35. And that's your weather, brought to you by the place that means weather. That's Montage Mountain Resort. This is the man they honor. This is the fool they honor. This is the disgrace they honor. The Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. Please contact them on their Facebook page. Ask them why the hell they won't take that banner down. They've got a stolen valor banner pretending that Joe Biden served us in the military. No, he dodged the military. He dodged military service. And he's a disgrace as a human being. Honor him any way you want, but not with a hometown hero banner. Sadly, it's day 100 of the Biden banner disgrace. Stolen valor. Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. Take the banner down. Blink 152, Murph says they had the number one hit March 25, 2004 with that hit Miss You. But I have to say it. This is my number one hit. Walking on Sunshine with Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor at Premier Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. She's your trusted guide to Florida real estate and Southwest Florida. You can reach her through Sotheby's International in Naples or TinaMorocco.com. That's MURACCO. And here she is, our own ray of sunshine, Tina Morocco. Hi, Tina. How are you today?
I'm fine, Bob. How are you?
I'm telling you, I'm warmed up every time.
Warmed up, just ready to go.
As soon as your theme song comes up, I almost said team song. I am from Dunmore. But as soon as your theme song comes up, I'm ready for action. I'm telling you.
You're ready to go.
What's on your mind today? What are you up to?
So, well, today I thought I'd talk about two really patriotic, kind of iconic places in Southwest Florida.
Please.
So the first one is in Goodland, Florida. And Goodland is southeast of Marco Island. And people flock to Goodland, especially in season, from all over Florida for a place called Stan's Idle Hour. Stan's Idle Hour is, it's been around since like the 1960s, I think. And it's a waterfront, Goodland is like a waterfront fishing community, but Stan's is like an outdoor, on the water music venue, real casual seafood restaurant, but it's extremely patriotic. And so on Sundays, they have Sunday Fun Day. They have live music every week, but Sunday Fun Day literally brings in thousands of people. And so before the bands start, they stand up and they play the national anthem, and then they play the second verse of the national anthem.
Wow.
Who does that?
Oh.
Yeah. So it's really quite something to see, all these thousands of people standing up and just kind of saluting our country. And, it's just,
I've never heard
something.
of Goodland. How about that?
It's on the way to Marco Island. You take a little exit off there. It's just something else to see. They have Stan's Idle Hours there, which is iconic. And then they have this little place called Little Bar, and it only has a couple little seats, but if you can get in there, it's really fun. Family-owned place, but Stan's Idle Hour is really, good bands, good food, and very, very patriotic. So it's a lot of fun. And if you're
my man Mark Mayer's
fishing,
texting me. It's called The Stand, right?
Stands, yeah,
He
stands.
was. It's the stand. We're taking a stand. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So the other one I want to talk about is a newer concept here. It's called Seed to Table. Some of your viewers might have heard of it. Owned by Alfie Oakes, and Alfie Oakes is very, very patriotic, conservative. He's involved in all kinds of things. That's in North Naples. But this is a grocery store that I'm talking about here. Mm-hmm. But it's not just a grocery store. I don't know if you've heard of this place.
I've been there.
But
yep.
Have you?
Amazing.
So the only grocery store, I've ever been to. Valet parking, if you want it. But this grocery store is kind of set up like a Wegmans. It's 2-story. You go in, but there is political paraphernalia everywhere. But it's neat because I mean, the food is great. Lots of local produce there, but there's also lots of restaurants there. And like I said, it's 2 stories. There's live music there every day. And so it turns into a scene to be seen. It's really, really something. People are grocery shopping, but they're dancing, and their shopping carts have little holders for your wine and your beer. So it's grocery store shopping into a different experience.
So Feed to Table and the Stand. Wow.
Feed to Table and Stand's Idle Hour are 2, and people come not just from Southwest Florida, but they come here just to see these 2 places and to experience them. They're a lot of fun. But, it's just very conservative, patriotic spirit there in both places.
I love that you bring it up, because that's one of the important things that people need to know about Southwest Florida and what Tina could bring you to. It's fun. It's a blast. It's an absolute blast down there.
So believe it or not, I've had 2 people buy condos in North Naples because of the proximity to Seed to Table, because they want to go there and hang out a couple times a week. It's just
love it.
Something else.
Oh. Yeah. That is just great. Tina, thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you later in the week.
Definitely.
I got to remember the Stand. I'm in, man. I am in for that.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much. Our Tina Morocco, you can reach her through Sotheby's International. She's your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. TinaMorocco.com, MURACCO. Love it. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Well, we played Elton John. You wonder why? Because he was born Reginald Dwight, Murph says. This date, 1947. He is better known as Elton John. Born in Pinner, Middlesex, England. Murph picked Crocodile Rock for Elton's birthday. And happy birthday, Elton John. What is he? He's got to be about 80, right? At least. Hey, couple of texts on that conversation with John Basiliga. I like this one. Bob LTS, he goes, especially your restaurant and pub recommendations. I've tried the Highbridge House, the Far Street, and most recently a Terra 519 this past weekend. All are excellent. Looking forward to trying the others. I'll buy you a drink if I see you out. You remember that now. Please remember that. And somebody says, thank God for John B. If it wasn't for this one man, Scranton would have caved into the mines a long time ago. One person can make a difference. God bless John Basiliga. Another, I wonder if John ran for the mayor in Scranton as a Republican, what crap would they would come up about him, says Cabinet Guy. I know. Another says, safe to say Basiliga has done more for Scranton than any politician in recent years. Thank you, says Mr. Wayne. I know it. It's unbelievable. Hey, by the way, I said, you go to the great developers we've been blessed with in Scranton and now Wilkes-Barre, because John moves to Wilkes-Barre, the Donahues come up to Scranton, Charlie Jefferson, and then you go to Don Mamano, and you say, thank God we have them. And I'm telling you, the mayor and her administration are a hindrance to their development, not a help. She's benefited politically and tries to pretend like she had something to do with it. I will promise you, zero. Hey, we're going to go to the phones quickly, but we're going to finish today with what Murph says. It's Johnny Cash, 1963. This date, he recorded Ring of Fire, and the Bulldog will play it shortly. But let's go to Charles from Scott Township to wrap it up. Hi, brother.
Hey, Bob. How you doing? I just want that comment that Jeffries made, which I call him. I name him Obscene Jeffries. And but anyway, I'm a man of faith. It takes a lot to get me angry, but that angers me. And the Bible even said God hates a liar.
Yep.
And the way he looks right in the camera and lies, how can you say something like that? That is absolutely despicable.
What do you call him? Obscene Jeffries?
Yeah.
That's a good name. I like that. I'm going to steal that.
I'll
I'll try to give you credit, but I may not. I like it a lot.
And that guy that texted said he'd buy you a drink. Never mind a drink. He should buy you dinner.
No, you don't want to feed me, too. Actually, it'd be cheaper to feed me than give me booze.
Well, I don't know what your choice is. I'm not a drinker anymore, but mine was always 10 or 12-year-old single malt scotch.
Yeah, well, I'm an Oban man, and Oban and McAllen, so I'm dangerous to be around.
Glenfiddich.
Well,
and a good Don Diego cigar.
There you go. All right, my man. Thank you, Charles.
You bet. Have a good day, Bob.
Obscene Jeffries. I love it. Well, as our guy Johnny does his thing, we'll do our thing. Hey, I got to go. There's nothing I can do about it. But this hour brought to you by Tina Morocco. She is with Premier Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. And, she's your trusted gateway to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. You can reach her at Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. Great having John on today. I love the guy. I really love the guy. I love what he does, what he stands for, the whole package. So, this week, we're in the middle of the week already. I can't believe it. So much to fight about. So much to battle these fools with. It's quite amazing. But we will do it. I promise you. Final mention of our vets. William Michalski, Plains Township. Larry Goebel, Sterling Township. Joseph Danko of Oneida. And Paul Pakutka of Duryea. Thanks to John Basiliga and his gang at Basiliga Hospitality for for bringing their remembrance to all of you. Well, my Picardo Jewelers watch tells me we're approaching noon, which means Sue Henry's coming up next. Rob O'Donnell after that. Remember Picardo Jewelers, I'm telling you, Jefferson Avenue and Spruce Street, downtown Scranton, catty corner from the Radisson. It is your jewelry store. And when you see the watches, you'll go out of your mind. You got to go there. You got to stop. They'll take care of you. 3 generations. For now, however, God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning, but I've got to gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Have a great afternoon.